Not too bad.
Sorry, that was at the same time. Sweet. Carla, how's everything going on your end?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh gosh, it wouldn't let me unmute. Doing pretty good. Been under the weather for a whole week, but I had come across a sub two, a person that's in Pace Morby's group sub two,
Nice.
and so I had the deal. I tried different angles. Daniel said that the numbers were too tight for him. So I could probably come out with a bird dog fee. The sub two guy, his name is Michael. He called the realtor, and it looks promising. So let's see with that. Because it come to find out, of course, I think I told you before, the seller didn't tell about all the other debt that he had associated with that property,
Mm-hmm.
so it made it too tight to even wholesale or get
Okay.
anything out of it. But the experience has been really great, though. I appreciate the experience, that I'm getting. And this gentleman is supposed to, well, I say gentleman, but Michael's supposed to keep me abreast, working with his TC, that kind of thing, so I can follow along. And I'll be, learning some more, new techniques. Um, so still, working on that. And I got to contact somebody. They said they wanted to get some land, but I don't know what they meant by that. So I got to check on that.
Okay.
I'm
Sweet.
hanging
And
in
then
there. Uh-huh.
no, I was gonna ask, and real quick with the with like subject to, right? I know that's
Hmm.
real popular with like houses and things of that nature, but like what's the I guess what's the overall benefit for the seller and when it comes to like subject to? I don't know if John or George has any insight on it, but what's the true benefit to the seller when it comes to like subject to?
Well, for this gentleman, it's ended up because he was going to just walk away from it, and then it would have ruined his credit. It would have done a lot more damage than, he would have been foreclosed on. You talked about all that kind of stuff. So I think
Mm,
it just depends on, what's going on. Just a minute, let me catch you. This is my grandson. Just a second.
mm-hmm. But yeah, I've always heard a lot about subject to. I never really done any of it personally, but I've been hearing a lot more about it. As far I don't know if it's gaining popularity or something like that. But George or John, I don't know if you guys can speak to that, or if you guys have you guys ever done any subject to stuff?
No, just a regular flipper over here.
Gotcha. Okay. What do you flip out of?
I'm in Boston. I've been
Oh,
a little bit off track lately. I've been doing a lot of listings at a real estate brokerage as well. But
nice.
I saw you guys are having a training or a coaching call, so I thought I might as well jump in and get myself back on track, get in the mindset at least.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, we do these calls every Tuesday. I really like to keep it like open ended and focus on whatever, like I guess problems people are having in their current business or anything that they need kind of like help or guidance on. Um, so yeah, that's what we just like to keep it open ended. I know last week we talked about like buyers. We did some buyer calls live, trying to help one of the audience members sell a deal in where that was, Carla, Indianapolis or something like that. And then yeah, I really me personally, my style of like coaching, if you want to call it, is like hands-on. So if like you got something active that you need like help with, I like to learn it right alongside with you if I don't know it. So
What about like data and metrics? Like if I was to ask you like how do you feel cold calls like dollar spent for leads versus mailers, dollar spent for leads, like where should we be focusing our time? Text call, American callers.
yeah. So I approach everything from like a systemic standpoint, and I have a lot of conversations around like lead generation, right? Because your question is centered around like I'm assuming you want to know like which lead marketing channel generates what the best leads, the most quality leads, or something like that.
Yeah, I guess like all right, I can do a 5,000 piece mailer and I know I'm gonna get calls. I'm gonna get calls back. I'm gonna have some leads. What do you think that equates to with lead mining pros? Like what package would be equivalent to like a 5,000 piece mailer?
Okay, let me go to their website real quick. With the mailers, how much does it cost you to send 5,000 pieces of mail?
About 3 Gs.
Uh, let's take that to the equivalent of a 3G package.
And ideally, I'd like to chunk down too, by the way, like 1,000 pieces at a time. You know, like I don't always do those big mailers.
Yeah. So let's just say you even took half of that budget, right? And did anywhere between 3,000 cold calls and 1,500 text messages. On his website, he says for land, he averages anywhere between 20 to 60 leads. And then houses, he does 10 to 28, right? Now,
Yeah.
here's my thought process when it comes to lead generation. Because again, I always approach everything from a systemic standpoint. The benefits of mailers is that you have people coming to you. So you have all the leverage. They picked up
Yeah.
the phone, they received your mail, and then they're reaching out for like, hey, I got your piece of mail. I'm interested in moving forward. You know what I mean? The downside is it's hell of expensive. So like, let's just say if you send out 5,000 pieces of mail and it costs you 3 Gs, and then you get what? How many leads on average do you say you get back?
A few good ones, a handful of good ones, say 5 real solid people. Yeah,
Yeah, like 5 real solid people, your cost per lead is like through the roof out of that 5,000.
it
You know?
is.
So that's like the pros. I always break things down from like a pros and cons standpoint. So then now when you add, okay, can I continue doing this? Can I sustain this lead or this marketing channel long enough in order to kind of like make a profit? You know what I mean? So if I was to
Yeah.
stick with out, what, 6 months, and you're what you said, 5 Gs per
Yeah.
whatever, what you're
Yeah.
10 to 15 in. So you got to make sure your average deal size is at least 5 to 10K minimum on each particular deal over the
Yeah.
course, this 6 months. Now, cold calling, it's a cheaper cost per lead, but it's more of a numbers game. You know what I mean? Whereas like a lot of the money that you'll make with cold prospecting will probably come in follow up. And I was just talking to somebody about this in regards to you can do it yourself and make it cheap. You could just get a dialer. You can, get any CRM that could text and cold call and stuff like that. But do you have the bandwidth to either do it yourself or pay a VA to do something that is overwhelming to begin with?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get. Now, I also get a lot of probate leads where I get direct cell phone numbers for them. I do call myself sometimes, but not always. Do you think that better to go with the text campaign or call campaign?
If you're doing it yourself or you're delegating it,
I'm delegating to you guys.
uh,
Yeah.
then I would just do me personally, I would stick to calling. And then
Okay.
you also got to look into like the market that you're in as well too. So like you're a listing agent. You said you're a real estate agent as well too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you will know a little bit better about the market that if you're doing Boston, if you're doing, in the surrounding areas of Boston and stuff like that. Um, I don't know too much about Boston, but here's also something to take into account. If you know certain areas of Boston that are like highly sought after or like maybe a little bit saturated, then you probably want to go with the mixture of both calling and texting, right? Because calling will bring the quantity, texting, well, I'm sorry, calling will bring the quality, texting will bring the quantity, if that makes sense.
Got it. Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
would show both. And I actually got a phone call from an agent. Let's see. Hopefully this deal gets sold. They need to make sure they didn't need to build on the property. Merely they tried to purchase it before and they said they required them to start building and I'll leave it vacant. Can't free and find out ASAP. Sweet. Uh I think the only other person here that's close, she hopped off. Carla, I was gonna say I have a deal in Texas that I'm working on with an agent and you just found a buyer for me, but we need to figure out what the buyer needs. You guys want to hear that live call or no? Yeah, yes, no,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay, wait, I'm calling back.
We are unable to take your call right now.
Corey, call me back.
Please leave a message after the beep.
I just told him to call me back ASAP when he can.
Carla's back.
Oh yeah. I was asking Carla about this because this was in Carla's neck in the woods. Carla, you're in Fort Worth or Dallas?
I'm in Fort Worth, but
Oh,
Dallas
okay.
is a hop, skip, jumping away. What's up? Because things are showing up a little different than what it normally does. So that's why I had to go out and come back in.
Oh no, because this lead is one of the leads that a couple of weeks ago we were like underwriting and stuff like that. I think Carla, you're always here. But this is the same lot that we are talking about maybe like 2, 3 weeks back, where we are talking
Yeah, I
about maybe
remember.
like possibly like splitting, pardon me, splitting it up.
Yeah.
Um, so we ended up reaching out to an agent to see if the agent can kind of like get it sold for us, and we got it for 100, and he just called me back and said he may have a buyer solid at 115. So that's good news.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that was an example to John's point of one of the ones that we did live here too. So I underwritten the deal live in front of everybody, told them, what I think could possibly happen to it and stuff like that. So yeah,
And
that's pretty
Francisco,
what.
you found the buyer through that monthly subscription you have of buyers.
No, but I did reach out to buyers and send them the deal through that, but none of them, like most of them, just passed on it. And then my next
Mhm.
course of action was, okay, let me reach out to some realtors and see if they have any like small mom and pop developers or any, access to any information I may not have because I'm based out of Florida. So, Texas is a non-disclosure state. So my next course of action was, all right, let me go ahead and reach out to realtors. Listing it on the market was already out of the picture just for the simple fact that the seller already went through that avenue. And she initially tried to get it sold on the market for like 145, 150, or
Okay.
probably even higher than that. So we got her down to 100. Um, and then, yeah, luckily the realtor came through in the clutch and was like, I may have somebody at 115. So thumbs up.
Sounds good. How did you decide to go with that particular realtor? Like, how did you like scope out that realtor?
Man, so I'm a realtor myself, and I will say this because I'm speaking like in from a general sense, right? Most realtors don't answer the phone. So it's like sometimes you have to kind of vet them out a little bit and kind of see like you got me personally, I like to ask them questions if they're familiar with the wholesaling space, right? And most agents, you need to ask them. What I started doing is asking them, like, "Hey, are you familiar with what equitable interest listings are?" And then based on their response, I kind of gauge whether it's worth kind of like collaborating with them. Some of them have like a negative perception about wholesaling. Some of them are okay with it as long as that you can explain how they're going to get compensated. This particular agent, I reached out to him based on his brokerage's brand recognition. So I don't know if you guys know who Bashkar Padley is. He's like very big in the land space. But he's always like posting on Facebook. So I just went to his website, I sent him the deal, and then one of his agents reached out to me. And the agent that reached out to me, Bashkar is always posting about it. So I was like, oh, perfect timing. So one, I would definitely just gauge it based on their knowledge about, wholesaling, the line of work that we do, are their openness to like even exploring it if they're not, you know what I mean? And then their communication. Like Courtney has hit me up every other day, giving me updates. He's told me when buyers don't want the deal. He's told me when buyers passed on it. And then he's like very diligent in his underwriting. So like just basically as knowledgeable as you can find realtors, those are the ones that I would recommend to go with. And also ones that are communicative, like they can communicate well.
Okay. I find that in the past, just getting to the point where you even find a communicative person is hard. And just kind of even navigating like where do you even start to look to find
Yeah.
those individuals. But it sounds like you're well connected, so you knew where to start to look. I think sometimes I've gone on some of these platforms and I've looked for like people who have done the similar type of deal, like the same type of land, same type of area, just to see if they would be willing to, you know, take it on. But even then, if they don't respond back, it's hard to kind of get them to move.
I called a realtor here maybe like 2 weeks ago. Matter of fact, exactly 2 weeks ago, because he wasted 2 weeks of my life. And I called him live during this call. We connected, sent him an email. I sent him the deal, and I'm like down south in Florida. This was further up north, right? So it's like 4 or 5 hours away from me. And I told him, he was like, he's familiar with it. He wanted to run it by his broker. And then if everything checks out, he'll be good to go. This man done sent me drone photos of the damn property. He done told me he had a buyer for it. And this is all within 2 weeks' time. And then I keep asking him, I'm like, even if your buyer doesn't want it, let's just go ahead and list it. Went MIA, radio silent. And he sent me the drone photos and everything. And then I had to leave him a voicemail the other day. It was like, hey, if you don't get back to me by the end of the day, I gotta move on and go to somewhere else. And I found him off of Land Portal. And then if you guys want me to go over, I could just show you how to like find realtors. And then you really just gotta either one, try to be patient and build a relationship with them because nothing's gonna happen overnight. And then two, kind of like have multiple conversations. It's not most of the time, it's not going to be like a one call. Yeah, go ahead and take my listing, or go ahead and help me sell this particular deal. But over the course of time, I would always start in the vicinity of the area that I'm trying to sell a deal in. So do you guys have an address that you guys want to just experiment with so we can look at some realtors?
I
Or I could
personally
put one.
do not. Sorry.
What
No,
market?
no. It could be any market. Just put it in the chat and then we can go ahead and look it up in any market. Let me see if somebody put an address. Oh,
How
John, you
about
got some?
Boston? Yeah, anything in Boston? The
Just
market I'm in.
put any random address, or I could find an address.
Okay.
And John, how many in Boston, how many MLSs are out there in
Just
Boston?
one.
Just one?
Yeah.
Y'all are so lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, no, very different than Florida.
Florida got a monopoly, slow kid, highway robbery.
So what are we putting in addresses for? Just so I can
We could
under
just any random address that we can look and you can see. I use Land Portal, and then it gives you the agent's information, and you can
all
see
right.
like how much they sold it for and things of that nature. This is in Suffolk County.
Yeah, Suffolk.
Suffolk. Okay, perfect. And then boom. I use Land Portal. I'm pretty sure you can use Zillow or any other free resource or whatever the case may be. Land Portal to me just makes it a little bit easier. And then you just simply just, draw a vicinity or draw kind of like around the geographical area where your subject property is located.
Okay.
And then you just go to MLS filters. You can either go with for sale, or you can look at all the ones that sold. Ideally, you want to start off with the ones that are sold. And then you can do houses or land, either or. And then you just press apply. So now we're looking at all the sold homes in the last 6 months in this particular geographical area. And then boom. And then it's going to tell you the MLS details, and then boom. It's going to give you the person's name. Steve Cohen. And you just reach out to them, ask them like, hey, have you worked with wholesalers before? Are you familiar with how we get deals done? Familiar with equitable listing, equitable interest listing? A little bit of a tongue twister. And then that way you just kind of build relationships. And one of the things on my agenda that I'm going to improve on in 2026, I don't know if you guys want to share anything, but building a realtor pipeline, because realtors are honestly a good avenue to kind of like disposition or kind of like work with to collaborate on if they know what they're doing and they can communicate, of course. But the same way, like basically building a pipeline of buyers, my goal is to kind of like also build a pipeline of realtors as well too that are active in the investment space. And then you just make calls to them or just go to networking events as well too. But Carla, you didn't miss anything. We're just talking about working with realtors and things of that nature, and building a pipeline of them as well too. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be incorporating going into 2026. Because this year I've worked with a few realtors to get deals sold. If either my internal list didn't want them, and they either posted on the MLS for me or they brought me a buyer, one of the two.
I have I have one here in the DFW area. She's really knowledgeable. Because she's an investor and she knows a lot of the investors in the area. Um, so she's been in it for quite some time. And that was at Melinda. I gave you her information. She's a really good source. So keep her.
Absolutely.
Um, so I'm beginning to do the events in the last couple of weeks. They were I
Carla,
look at it this way.
Carla, you were breaking
Oh,
up a little
can you
bit.
hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so I've been networking with realtors lately myself, in the last like 2 to 3 weeks. I go to their events and things like that.
Oh yeah. I think another slept
So
on thing about
I'll keep,
realtors.
yeah.
No, to your point, Carl, I
Oh,
said another slept on thing that I think working with realtors is good for the ones that can communicate, heavy on communication, is they can also bring you leads as well too. So to back going real quick back to John's earlier question about like lead generation, one of like the most cost effective ways is to have realtors send you leads that they can't do anything with or they don't know how to do something with, if that makes sense. And then there's a guy in my mastermind who all he does is network with agents to send him deals that he has buyers for. That's all he does is just agent outreach. That's it.
oh, really? Okay.
So all he does is agent. He doesn't pay for. And again, everybody has different ways to skin a cat. So no
Mm-hmm.
way more right or wrong than the other. But yeah, all he does is just call realtors, text them. He probably knows every real, and he's only in Tampa too. So he only does in Tampa, and he probably knows every realtor in the Tampa Bay area. He'll call.
Mm.
They have listings. He'll call them if they help sell something in a specific area. Like he just wants them to send him deals. That's it. And he's actually one of the other people that Joy, what Joy was asking about was the software that I've been showing you guys that you could just pull up buyers on there. That's all he uses that as well too. And that's all he does is to do his dispositions and just cold call builders all day or buyers in general because he does houses and
Nice.
land. So
Oh,
that's
that's
also another.
nice.
Yeah, and I bring that up because all marketing channels work just long as you kind of like perfect the system to like
Mhm.
to perfect it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my thing right now is not having a CRM or anything like that. Trying to get that lead generation is really because I'm getting them. I'm getting them. The ones I do get is because somebody contacts me.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to get better lead generation till I can get the CRM and all the stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Because right now, what do you think?
yeah. No, I was gonna say right now, I mean, you can even like, don't get me wrong, like CRMs are very popular and stuff like that. But if you just getting started, I would just say like you use a spreadsheet for the time being. You know what I mean? Because I think one thing that people underestimate when it comes to CRMs is, there's a learning curve no matter what CRM you go out there with. You know what I mean? And there's tons of them out there.
Oh.
So
But I think Carla, you're talking about like the texting capabilities and all the things that people use the CRMs to do. Is that what you're talking about, Carla?
Yeah, that too. Um,
Yeah.
because we're okay. So generating a list in Texas because I really wanted to get to know my backyard. What do you suggest
mhm,
I do? I don't have the CM. What would be a good start for me? How could I? Because the leads I do get, they're dwindling in and they're not panning out. They're not good ones.
yeah. So there's a couple of things. So one, it's going to require like monetary resources, either like doing it yourself or paying someone else to do it, right? So that way, because
Mhm.
the lead flow, what you're communicating is the lead flow is not like consistent enough for you to monetize on them, correct?
Correct.
Got you. So the two ways to kind of like increase that from like a systemic standpoint is like, invest the monetary resources to kind of like get a list, get a CRM, do the texting thing and stuff like that. And then handle all the responses yourself, which is time consuming, right? And then you can also delegate it. Now, when you delegate it, you get a little bit of an easier use from the standpoint of like you're only getting sent the yes leads. So now you just have to position yourself to protect your focus and make sure that when those leads come in, you actually call them, right? And then that way you can kind of, even if it's once a month or, once every other month, I'm pretty sure if you get with Nick, he'll find a custom package for you that kind of thing that can kind of fit your monthly budget for marketing. But it's something that has to be
Hmm.
consistent. There's a gap between there, then you're going to have those instances where, it's trickling in every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Or
see
if
what
you
you said. Yeah.
Right. Or the flip side to that, if you want to do it all the freeway, it just requires a lot of time up front, which is like what Sean, the guy name is Sean. I actually got to ask him if he's okay coming on and talking to you guys. But Sean, he invested the time up front just to like cold call and network realtors. So he might have been cold calling realtors, going to events for maybe 6 months to a year, and then in that time frame, he's like developed a consistent lead flow from agents that send him deals, to where now he may not have to prospect as much because he's built those relationships up. You know what I mean? But
Mm.
it requires the time up front. You save the money, but you just invest the time. And then later on down the line, you see the results. You know what I mean? Investing the
Mm.
money now,
Well,
you see
yeah.
the right away.
I'd like to talk to him and find out how he's doing that because actually I'm going to these events and here
Mm,
locally and I get their information. I've been keeping in touch, see how they're doing, find out what it is they want to do, that kind of thing. And but I really do need to close some deals because I believe that would strengthen my reputation with them.
oh yeah,
You know what
100%.
I mean? Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now because when they see I'm working deals, that I'm really getting deals, I think that would strengthen my reputation with them. And that's where, you know, the few that I've gotten didn't pan out. I need some closings. I need to, I need to get there. So that's my thing. Um, Working on that. So and just, you know, finding places to pull the list. So without using I mean going the free route
Hmm.
when it comes to list pulling, if I know a particular um, zip code that builders are looking for, because I contacted someone, they said there were some people that they had buyers. They didn't say if they were builders or anything. They just had buyers for land.
Hmm.
How can I pull that? Where can I? What is the? Because I tried PropWire for some reason it's not working for me. I don't know if I just don't understand. I guess the free version, because the free version I used to, when I first came across it, it worked well. But now when I go in there and I use the free version, it's just not producing what I think it should. I'm not getting that information like I should.
And you said, wait, ProWire charges now? I thought it was free.
It's free, but they have a paid version.
Oh, you talking about like when when you want to skip trace it and stuff like that?
That too, but I think it includes better leads. I have to look at it again. I have to look at it in a few months. But I thought they had a paid version that you get some other stuff included beside just not just the skip tracing, but it was something in addition that I have to look at it again.
Okay. I can show you kind of like the thought process. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I was gonna say how I can show you the thought process of like you want to look at how to find buyers.
Well, I've got some zip codes to work on, so that they have the buyers. I need to get the leads so I can start cold calling that list and get some traction.
Okay, what's a zip code that you got?
Okay.
Put it in the chat.
Know
One of
what
the
is going on. Let's- I'm pulling up her email. They need all zip codes, 50 feet of front road frontage, paved roads only, city preferred, and the price. And
Carla, you breaking up?
me again. Okay, can you hear me now? Is it?
Yep,
Let me know when you can hear me.
I can
Okay.
hear you now.
They said. Okay, so they said all zip codes, 50 feet of road front, paved roads only. It depends on the lot. But let me
Okay.
let me choose a zip one zip before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Francisco.
Yes, sir.
Um, just a quick question. Is it possible that she can get with me? I got a couple of leads in Texas, and I run Texas. I'm marketing Texas real heavily.
Okay. Yeah, 100%. Carla, if you want to
Okay.
put your
Okay.
information, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do that. Hold on. Man, this Zoom is acting up
And
today.
Al, I'm also in Texas, so but I'm more north. I'm not Fort Worth. I'm more like North Dallas. So if you have anything going towards like Gunther and all of that, please feel free to reach out to
Okay,
me as well.
Say that one more time, ma'am. You got stuff going where now?
I said I'm in North Dallas. So I'm a little bit
Around that Denton area?
yeah, I'm a little bit more north than Fort Worth.
oh, that's down the street from me. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
you're in
just south
Denton?
of Denton.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll put
just
my
south of
number
Denton.
in
I'm
the
like,
chat
yeah, I'll put
and
my
you guys
number in
can
the
reach
chat.
out to me. But okay.
I don't see it. I see mine, but I don't see yours
I mean,
out
I'm gonna
or
stick it
Joy.
in there now, ma'am. I'm gonna stick it in there now.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Perfect. Collaboration. Love it, guys.
Joy, can you either call or text me?
Yes, I will. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that now.
Sweet. Love it, guys.
I love this group.
There you go. But yeah, Carla, and those zip codes, if you have like buyers already, and another thing that will also help you with lead generation is figuring out what I lost my train of thought for a second. I'm sorry. What part of the business is you excel the most at, right? Do you are you really good at talking to sellers and building rapport and making connections? Or are you really good at, understanding buyers' criteria, building relationships with them and stuff like that? Whatever you gravitate towards the most, just focus on that
Mm-hmm.
and collaborate with the opposite. So let me give you an example. If you're like really good at talking to sellers over the phone, the only thing you need to do is make sure that you educate yourself on how to quickly pull a list, how to use a dialer, or whatever the case may be, even if you're just doing it from your phone, right? And then if you're really good at talking to sellers, once you perfect the craft of like downloading the list, exporting them and stuff like that and building the relationships. And if Joy is really good at talking to buyers, getting criteria and stuff like that, boom. Now you focus all of your energy on making sure that you get as many leads that fit Joy's buyer criteria or vice versa, right? So that's what I would recommend. And that's
Oh,
another way to do it as well, too. You just have to be consistent in the action of getting in front of people as cheap as you can.
oh, okay, okay, okay. That works right there. That I understand that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I will
And then
also kind of
maybe go ahead.
no, go ahead, Carla.
Says that maybe one day I'll be paying that $700. I think getting buyers that way. What a minute.
I mean, it's free ways to do it now too. You just got to be able to manually, get through the grunt of it all. You know what I mean? But it's a nice luxury to
Yeah,
have. Trust me, it's definitely you have to make sure that it pays for itself, or
yeah,
get to the point where you pay to itself, either or. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do you think you can talk to Sean to see if he can, or if he wants to talk to us individually? I mean, if he just want a one-on-one call or whichever, that would be great.
Yeah, he's actually in the same mastermind group as I am. So let me actually message him and see what his schedule is like. But he will also be a nice guest to kind of like shed light on some good wins because he's just a master at agent outreach.
Okay.
Sending him a message now.
Hey, Joy, you say you got buyers in Denton?
No, no, I don't have buyers. I don't have buyers in Denton, but
I I might have some. That's why I need to know what you got so I can give it to him.
Okay, I took your number down, Miss Carla, and I'm gonna send you some stuff over that way.
Okay. And Joy, when can we meet?
make it happen. We'll. If you said you're in, when you said Fort Worth, I was thinking like Fort Worth proper, and that's like over an hour. But if you're in Denton, we can make that happen.
No, yeah, I'm like 30 minutes from Denton. I'm in North Fort Worth. You know where, have you heard of Saginaw?
It
Or
sounds familiar. It sounds familiar. Yes,
you know
we'll
where
make it
Texas
happen.
Motor, uh, yeah, I'm near Texas Motor Freeway.
We'll make it happen.
I'm not far from there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also another person that would be good to kind of like bring back on now that he has some more developing features is Ken. You guys remember Ken with offmarket.com?
That was, how long ago was that? It might be one I missed. I don't know.
It was like 2, 3 months ago, but before he was charging, but now he made his platform completely free. So that's also another free resource for you to kind of like, if you got some decent deals and you need to get them under contract. I think it works better for houses than it does with land. But with houses, there's tons of people like finding buyers on his platform. He basically created a tender for real estate, which is crazy. So like a couple months ago, he was talking about like, coming out with an app where it can connect buyers and sellers. So now buyers go on the app after wholesalers basically upload their deals in there, and then buyers can swipe left or right if they want the deal. And if they swipe right, they give the wholesaler the buyer's information and stuff like that. Or the buyer can reach out directly to the agent. So
I remember him now. I remember that because he did say it was more for houses than land. It was
yeah.
that part I
And
remember.
now he's made it. He used to charge like $200-300 a month for it, but now he made it free for both sellers and buyers. And then if he finds a buyer for you, he only charges like 1% of whatever you sell it to the buyer for. So he only
Oh,
charges if he actually finds you a buyer that closes. So that's good. So that's another free avenue if you guys want to kind of like accelerate the process of building relationships with buyers and finding them without having to constantly call them. That's also another free avenue for you, Carla, as well too.
okay. And that was offmarket.com.
Yes, but he changed the name of it though too. Like he changed it to Alpha, so OFFA.com.
Oh, OFFA.
Yeah, OFFA.com. I
Dot.
told him do not name it that, and he still named it that. But yeah, that's the name he went with. So
Oh,
like okay. .com.
okay.
And then yeah, it's 100% free. And it looked like Texas. He got the most deals in Texas. Got like 100 of them
Hmm.
all over Texas. Yeah.
Okay.
And his team just calls and texts everybody for you. Is John still okay? I think John hopped off. He has a couple in what? Boston, Massachusetts. Yeah, he has them all over. So they call buyers nationwide for you. With land, he'll still get you like some, what you call it, some buyers with land, but I haven't found a buyer that will actually like close on the property. You know what I mean? Um,
Oh,
they,
but they
they've
go
like
out.
expressed. Say that again.
Oh, say what? Why wouldn't it go through? What's the deal with that?
No, so like they weren't necessarily interested in that particular deal, but they were still buying in other areas. Or they were just like, I couldn't get a hold of them or stuff like that. But all the ones I were able to get a hold of, they were just like, it's not in like the best area, but they gave me criteria for other areas. But for houses, all of the people that I spoke to that use him for houses, they've closed hundreds of deals with him. So it's really good. With land, he still has to learn how to get acclimated to the land space, because big builders, he's not going to get a hold of big builders because that's mainly through email, right? But
Mm-hmm.
all the buyers he has connected me with have been like mom and pop developers, things of that nature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sweet. Before we wrap up, anybody got any questions or anything that they need help on specifically as it pertains to sellers, lead generation, talking to buyers and stuff like that? Okay, sweet. All right. Well, we can go ahead and wrap up a little bit early. We'll be here same time, same place as always. Thank you guys for the interactions. And then hopefully Sean texts me back. And if he responds, I'll coordinate with him to see, what time next week will be good for him. And then that can be our first guest. We haven't had a guest in a long time. So I'm actually excited for that. So sweet.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
another
guys.
great call.
No problem. I appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your week. Okay.
You too. Bye bye.
Thank you.